Hi everyone, I'm Marissa Cardona and I will be discussing the political and infrastructural issues that face Ireland today and where they fall on the corruption index. To get us started, let's look at some of the pros and cons of doing business in Ireland. One of the biggest benefits of doing business in Ireland is their low corporate tax rate. It's been on average around 12.5% consistently. Additionally, the Irish government has very limited restrictions on foreign firms and typically treat foreign firms and domestic firms equally. That exception with this would be with airlines and in agriculture. Their judicial system is very fair as well. They have a reputation for upholding and supporting contracts as well as foreign investment. Another pro that we see in Ireland is their unemployment rate. As Keaton mentioned previously, they struggled a lot during the recession in 2007 and 2008, and the core banking system even had to have a bailout in 2010 of about $85 billion. Well, euros. But they've since made steady improvements, and their unemployment rate continues to decrease year over year, most recently sitting at 7.8% in May. With that, some of the cons to doing business in Ireland are their high labor and operating costs. Primarily, their labor costs root from their focus and importance on education. There's a lot of specialized and skilled workers or laborers, and also they're still suffering from the shortages due to the recession in 2007 and 2008. So because of those foreigners that left after the recession, they're still overcoming those obstacles. Their operational costs really branch primarily from their worry of the reliability of their energy supply. The price of living there is also pretty high. It's one of the highest in all of Europe. Now, maybe the most relevant political issues in Ireland right now is the Eurozone risk. The Eurozone consists of all the countries that use the euro as their form of currency. Eurozone risk is the risk of any changes that could come forth and result in capital or exchange controls by the government, which would likely restrict and limit the money supply as well as raise the costs. In recent news, some of you may have heard about the UK voting to leave the European Union. This is definitely an example of a change that could have a catastrophic impact on Ireland and the euro. The UK is a leading partner for Ireland in trade, and the two countries share borders. As you see here, the Northern Ireland part in green is actually the UK. So it can really pose a problem for transportation, for the flow of money, for imports and exports, and all kinds of things. So right now, while there's really no immediate changes to the free flow of people or goods or services, there's no telling the impact it'll have for Ireland down the road. Now, identifying the level of corruption in the country is another important feature to analyze before you go into business there. And the Corruption Percentage Index is widely known and used as a source for analyzing several countries' level of corruption. Their index ranges from 0 to 100, with 0 being very corrupt and 100 being very clean. A country's rank indicates its position relative to the other countries. The most recent index includes about 168 countries and territories. Ireland is relatively low on corruption. They are ranked in the top 20 of least corrupted countries in the world. So they are definitely seen as highly desirable for international business when it comes to corruption. Looking back at Hofstede's dimensions, research has shown that the higher that a country's uncertainty avoidance and power distance really equates to the higher their corruption is. This is in part due to their need for control on that end of the spectrum and the need for social order. So with that said, Ireland's low power distance and uncertainty avoidance, as well as their individualistic orientation, can be linked straight to their limited or very small amount of corruption. They place strong emphasis on performance assessments and believe in merit-based promotions and achievements. and they believe in equal rights and ethical power distribution, all point towards a very ethical and sound government and business. On the other hand, we can look at some of their other dimensions as well, like masculinity and their short-term orientation. Although small, they are vulnerable to corruption, so those areas could very well identify with the corruption that they do have. They look sometimes for really quick results and can be driven by competition. So really, that in itself implies that there is a line that could be crossed if it's not monitored. With that, really concludes the rest of our discussion on corruption and doing business in Ireland. Overall, Ireland seems to have some potential if you're looking to do business there. This concludes video number 3 on Ireland. On the next video, Miranda will be sharing with you the worst times to travel and the superstitions and customs to look out for in Ireland. Thank you.